bet a green light, but I can't see.
There's a green light.
Where?
A green light?
Where?
No, here, look. You've got to look up at the camera. Hey, move a bit closer. There you go. Where's the camera? Can you see it? I don't know. It's up there somewhere.
I can't see it. Well, hello. I am here at the local auction that we buy from to pick up our latest wins. We've got about 5 or 6 lots to collect. So, because Alexis is practically allergic to the sun, whenever she goes in the sun, she comes out in hives, and it's awful. So she's in the office, which is lovely and cool, and I'm here looking a bit hot and bothered. Sunshine doesn't like fat birds, unfortunately, so I am dying slightly of heat. But yeah, let's go and see what we've got. So that's that loaded. Even more, look, I'll go through it when I get back to the office, but I'm even more sweaty, so I'm off to get a cold coffee, and I'll see you back at the office. It's been a couple of days since the auction, so I was just going to go through what we managed to pick up this week, and I have listed quite a lot of this already, because I'm good like that. So we got some theatre programmes and a couple of books in there. We paid £6.32 altogether, including it was £5 for the auction, and they always had a bit on top as their fee. There's a good couple of ones in there. There's a book in there worth about 15. There's a couple of the programmes, Morecambe and Wise from the 1960s. Those are worth around £15 each. Got some Bakelite items, which are always quite popular. Paid £6.32 for those as well. There's an ashtray in there, and there is a inkwell, and those are all worth, everything all together is probably worth about £50. So that was quite a good lot. Got an odd lot of a box of odds, which is one of my favourite things to pick up, and we paid £18.96 on that one. There's a few bits in there that are quite good, there's a few bits not so good. There's some kind of old tobacco tins, some pottery. There was a really random thing that I'd never heard of before, called a banana glass, and it's for feeding babies, and it's from the 1940s, I believe. And that was quite a cute little thing. That's worth about a tenner. Also picked this up, which is a Thermos Lil Cool Date, which is like a little cooler box, mini cooler box, from America, and that's vintage, retro, all those good things. Paid £6.32 on that, and it's listed at the moment for $35 with free postage, because we're now doing free postage. Got some magazines, football magazines. I'll just take you over and show you these actually. Ugh. They're called Goal, and there's loads of them in there, and they're all from like the 1970s and stuff. And there's also ones called Shot, which are also from there, from the 1970s, and they're obviously older than we are. Got them listed at the moment. I think I've got half of them listed, the Shot magazines, and they're listed for around I think it's 60, but I'll put a thingy up there anyway to show you. Those ones that are listed there are probably worth about £50, so that's going to be another win. I'd say minimum we're going to get £100 back for them on an investment of, paid £18 in the auction plus £4.75, and my little brain can't, £22.75, so £100 back off those is quite a good little thing really. We also got a load of magazines that are called Find It Out magazines, and this is before my time as well, from the 60s, and they're kind of about history and I don't know, all that kind of stuff basically. Haven't got the complete set of them, but there's quite a lot. There's about 150, 60 magazines in there, and I've got those listed for £80. There was also some other magazines. Let me take you to have a look, because they're all the way up on the shelf. You can see those. Not all the issues there, there's 40 instead of the 60 that there was. Those are listed for £50, because some of them are a bit like an outer package, and that's a bit but the inside magazines are in perfect condition, so picked those up for £8 plus £2.11, so £10.11, and we're looking at probably about 130 after fees and everything on those, so that's quite a good little lot. Watch a lot of other resellers, don't we?
We do watch some of them.
We're quite picky.
Yeah. We watch the ones, I think, where you get quite a lot of little facts and stuff like that. And
yeah.
A lot of hints and tips from other resellers about how to list and all that kind of thing. It's really handy to know also what to pick up. Yes, but our favourite resellers, obviously, the king and queen of reselling, is Nick and Andrea. What are they called on? Is it just called? Are they called Nick and Andrea on YouTube, or is it the Hill? Nick and Andrea Hills. Nick and Andrea Hills. They're awesome. Yeah. So recently, Nick was talking about rejigging listings. Basically, I think he did a video. It was sort of the top 5 tips on how to make your listings more visible. So we've spent, I think, you spent 2 days and I spent 3, going back through our old listings and just seeing whether we actually were doing them quite efficiently. So it's about apparently having the item description, you know, when you have your title, you have what the item is at the very start, and then going throughout the rest of it, you have all the other little details of it that you want to add, like, you know, whatever kind of, whether it's vintage or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So we went and we redid all of these listings to make sure that essentially that's what they looked like in the title, and we went through adding item specifics, and we did a lot of free postage on stuff as well. So that's all been, I mean, I've nearly finished. I've got a few more to do, but that's what we've been doing, and it's a really, really handy tip. And actually, the last 24 hours, I think, in the main, since we've both got the majority of our listings done, we have noticed an influx in watches on items. We've also had things that have been on for quite some time having more watches, and having offers sent as well. So actually it does work in getting your listings a bit more visible on eBay, so that more people are going to interact with you about offers, potentially make a purchase at the end of it. So it does work. Yeah. What I've been doing when I've been going through my listings is I've been chipping away at the price of some of the older stuff anyway, because essentially, well, in the main, it's not going to sell if you price it up too high. No. But also having it, even if you've got it on for a reasonable price, having it sat around doing nothing is not going to get you any money in. So I've been chipping away at the value of some of the things that we've got on there. Sometimes a couple of quid or £1 or 50p, just depending on how long we've had it. Because in our old office, which we haven't been in now for several months, I did list a load of stuff, and as I was going through, I realised some of this old stuff we still have. So I just chipped away at the money that I wanted for those items to try and get a bit more interest that way. So we haven't just been going on and just been going like, okay, we'll add this money to this stuff and stuff like that. I mean, also, I think when we had postage policies, we weren't 100% aware of how much the total value of the item was going to be, not 100%. So when I was adding, you know, a little bit for the postage to stuff, I was going, that's really expensive. I don't think I'll pay that for that.
So we've been bringing it all in line with what we think is a reasonable all included. And
this is why it's so handy, really, to have a little bit of postage put onto your stuff. because you can then see how expensive it's going to be for people buying it, and that might then uncover why some of your items haven't actually been selling very quickly, because people who are obviously looking for those and they want to buy them can see the item value and they can see what it's going to cost them after postage is added, whereas we just go through going, yeah, that's a small parcel, that's a large letter, this is a medium parcel, and we don't really, if I'm honest with you, sometimes think of that final amount.
And I don't know about you, but there's been times where I've been online shopping, I've added loads to my basket, got to the end and it's told me the postage amount, I've been like, oh no, sold that, and I've just abandoned the whole cart.
Yeah, and I think that's the general consensus with a lot of people is they add it to the cart, they see that total value and they go, nope, and they go back and...
This is a reminder, schedule.
What that is all about is... Hold on.
Give a round two.
Schedule.
Alexis, I've got, what did my mum? My mum says I've got a head like an empty bucket.
I think Oscar Wilde once said a head like Swiss cheese. Not necessarily about you, about women in general, but I think that, well, whatever, you know. Fact of the matter is that you've got a really bad memory, haven't you?
Yes, awful.
Yeah.
So, what we've been doing is scheduling listings, so we don't have to panic and do a load every day. We can just do, I don't know, 20 in one day, and then we don't have to do any more for like 3 or 4 days each. So we've been scheduling them, but what I was doing at first was forgetting to schedule them, so we ended up having loads of listings on for one day, then nothing on the next day. But Alexis, very helpfully, has programmed Alexa to...
Well, Echo in this
Echo.
case.
Yeah, because otherwise she answers to Alexis sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
So every hour now it goes off and says schedule, so I can't forget. And I haven't actually.
On the hour, every hour.
The hour,
Originally
every hour.
You said every 2 hours, but I still didn't think that was enough, so I said it for every hour.
And it's handy because it also reminds me every hour to swear at her, even though it's helpful.
Yeah,
It's
and
annoying.
the fact that she's on your desk right in front of you probably doesn't help that.
Yeah,
But
not really.
it helps you remember to schedule, so that's what the whole thing,
Yeah.
you know, that's what it was all about. So yeah, as I'm going through and I'm just having a look at some of these listings, I showed you these the other day, I think. These box sets are Terry Pratchett. I've cleaned them up so they look just a little bit more presentable. They are a little bit discoloured, I think, because of age. But the inside now and the outside of these, they just look a little bit more presentable for anyone who wants to buy them. And they're quite easy to clean up as well because it's just all this chunky plastic stuff. And I'm just going through listening to the discs because obviously it's important when you sell anything like video games or DVDs or CDs or PC games, whatever. It's just important just to test those discs because otherwise you might be risking someone returning it. So while I'm doing the stuff on the computer, I'm able to listen to these. And I have to say that Nigel Planer...
Legend.
Nigel Planer...
We met him.
Oh, there was an accent he does, and it's awful. And I don't mean to criticise, but I can't remember what accent it was, but it's really, really awful. I can't remember because he does a Brummie. I remember at one point, and he does Scottish. But there's one of them and it doesn't sound anything like it should.
I mean, I find it quite easy doing a Brummie accent, to be honest.
But you would, but these are really entertaining actually. And one was voiced by Celia Emery, which unfortunately,
legend.
Which is the Weird Sisters, and unfortunately that one, the very last disc at the very end of it started skipping like no tomorrow, so that might need a clean. But
we're going to
all
send
these.
it off to
There's potential that we're going to send it off to somebody on YouTube so that they can clean it, but obviously we haven't reached out yet because we don't know how many discs we've got.
No.
So we won't mention any names, but we shall at some point probably be frequenting his Instagram, I believe, just saying we've got X amount. And I have stuff in my own personal collection, so I have PS2 games, and there's some other games, I think Xbox 360, stuff like that, which are worth getting clean. So I'm going to go through and check those discs and send them off with all the ones that we've got as well, because we've got a lot of console games to go through, and we'll show you those actually, because
that'll be a whole other video.
That will be probably several videos maybe.
Yeah, that'd be a really interesting video actually.
But anyway, so those are all going to get sent off, and I can chuck that CD in with it just to get it clean, just to see if it makes any difference. But there is one disc, I think it was the beginning of chapter 9 on one of the discs, that Jen actually heard this from the other side of the room. It hissed really loud at the start of the chapter, and I jumped
She had a
really
headphones
badly. I had these little earphones in my ears, and I absolutely crapped myself, to be honest with you. And like I say, she heard it from the other side of the room, so it must have been loud. So yeah, I'm surprised I'm not deaf.
If you'd like to see any items in our videos that you like the look of, feel free to send us an email or an Instagram, and we'll see if we can do you a deal.
Yes. So get in there quickly before we start listing them, because if we list these, sorry, you have to frequent eBay. But you know, just if you like any of this sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and
we'll always do you a good deal, won't we? Because we love you.
Really. And remember, you got to look up at the camera.
Oh yeah.
You got to look up at the camera.
Well, I have got a bit of a lazy eye, so if my eye wanders, it's not entirely my fault.
Where is it? Is it there?
I don't know. You said about a green light, but I can't see.
There's a green light.
Where?
A green light?
Where?
No, here, look. You got to look up at the camera. Hey, move a bit closer. There you go. Where's the camera? Can you see it? I don't know. It's up there somewhere. Oddly
it's a
enough,
lie.
I'm looking straight at this, and I'm looking into your soul.
You are.
But if I look up to the camera, I'm looking off camera.
Where am I looking?
Well, the's meant to be up here somewhere, isn't it?
Where
It's not.
Look at the camera.
There.
Where am I looking?
Up here. Oh,
I'm now looking dead on.
and we're looking at ourselves. So how does that work?
I don't know. I think
I
it's
don't
all a
know.
lie. Maybe my iPhone isn't as clever as Ricky Resell's iPhone.
I mean, this is a bit understandable because I have I have a more modern one than yours. So, yeah, because I have a more modern phone than yours, and it does come up with a green light. So maybe it only applies to the ones that are after a certain date. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Brilliant.
So like, subscribe, comment. Exciting news, isn't there, Alexa? Would you like to announce what's happening tomorrow?
Yeah, Jen is climbing Everest. So if you want to sponsor her, if you go to her GoFundMe, then what she will do is she will climb Everest, and what she's going to do is yodel when she gets to the very top. So for every 10 grand that she gets in her GoFundMe, what she will do is she will yodel 10,000 times.
If I get £10,000, I'll take my clothes off. If I get £20,000,
She'll
I'll
put
keep
back on. so just keep on.
But no, anyway, the actual exciting news is that we've been invited by the King and Queen of Reselling, Nick and Andrea Hills, to be on their live stream tomorrow, which will probably be today, depending on when I get this video on. I don't know.
Okay.
Today's Saturday, we're on tomorrow, which is Sunday, I don't know the date. Is it the 1st?
I don't know, because... Oh, God. 30th.
30th. So the 30th, we're on Nick and Andrea's live stream. Like, subscribe, we're at 85 subscribers now, which is insane. Which doesn't sound like much to you lot, but it's 84 more than I ever thought we'd get. As I always say. So, yes. Come and join us on the live stream tomorrow, and take care. Really appreciate you. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.